welcome to another session of Informally Formal. I am very excited. This is another session with one of my very favorites, Zara Mahbub. She is the country director of Qazi IT. Before that, she has been in many senior management roles with BRAC Bank, holds an MBA degree from one of the finest schools in the world, UC Berkeley. So without going into much more, because there is a lot I can talk about, but one thing I must mention, our topic today is the BPO industry in Bangladesh. And she has been recently elected to the board of BACCO, which is Bangladesh Association of Call Centers and Outsourcing. And of course, Qazi IT is in that space. So very warm welcome to you, Zara. So good to have you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being here. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, Zara, let's get started. First of all, help our audience understand what is BPO. We throw that acronym around, but a lot of people may not know. And also tell us, is it the same as call centers, as most people often seem to think that BPO and call centers are two pretty much the same thing? Please, over to you.
Great to start off with this question. Yes, what is a BPO? The acronym stands for Business Process Outsourcing. So what is it that I can outsource as opposed to, am I a call center? I need a call center for the customer service side of things of my business, but am I only a call center giving customer service? No. What a BPO does, it takes any business process of any existing organization. For example, I could be outsourcing financial services work from a bank and doing it at a BPO. I could be doing the software development work for an IT company or for any organization and sending it back to them. I could be a BPO doing that. I could perform HR services for any organization in a consolidated, holistic manner. That could be a BPO. So yes, while a call center is a function of the business process outsourcing entity, it is not the only thing that we do.
Absolutely. Very eloquently explained, Zara. Yes, indeed. Business outsourcing is like the whole gamut of it. Anything that an organization wants to source out, you know, that basically the organization that takes it in is the business process outsourcing outfit. Call centers can also be part of outsourcing, right? Is that what you're saying?
They are. The customer side of things is usually the call center. So what happened is, why we use it interchangeably is also because the call center or the customer service side of things were the ones that were outsourced at the beginning in our country, in our industries. As a result, we saw call centers being outsourced first. So that's why a BPO is sometimes thought only to be call centers.
The entire concept of business process outsourcing, and of course, like you said, started out with call centers. Started in India, by the way, in the early 80s with Azim Premji's company, right, and stuff in the 80s.
Infosys.
And then, as you very well know, what is it? The size of that industry in India is about 70 billion, isn't it? It's something around.
The BPO. So the Boston Consulting Group made a forecast of the BPO industry touching around $550 billion in the next couple of years. And out of that, the figure that we get in India is close to 200 billion. They're doing phenomenal work for outsourcing for the globe.
Are you serious? 200 billion out of that?
Yes.
750
yes.
billion is in India.
There are companies like Infosys and Tata and the others that actually surpass GDPs. Their annual numbers, they surpass the GDPs of certain small countries.
Oh my God. So what do you see the potential of BPO in Bangladesh, Zara?
The sky. I have to share this and I have to stretch my hands out, because the sky is the limit, because the BPOs is exactly what we should be doing. The world is out to outsource cost, right? They want to go lean. Sure. COVID has shown us this. This is COVID-19's legacy. If anything good comes out of it, we have learned to become leaner. So companies in the US and other places all over the world, Europe and the US mainly, will be looking for opportunities where they can minimize cost. So they will give us their high cost stuff to do. Just the way we were given in the 80s, we were told to make clothes for the world. That was what brought about the revolution in our R&G sector. This exact thing is what is going to happen now in the IT sector, in the business process outsourcing sector for Bangladesh. We as entrepreneurs need to get focused and start these setups so that we can get into that revolution and create another revolution like the garment revolution that happened in the 80s. And this will add to the GDP of the country.
Right, Zara, let me ask you, I truly believe what you're saying, that the sky is the limit as far as where Bangladesh can go with its BPO. But is our IT infrastructure ready for that?
The IT infrastructure is not a very big requirement. We need bandwidth. And we are moving slowly more and more, 4G and then 5G. We are moving towards that. So the IT infrastructure is there. Because I work in the BPO every single day, right? So I see there are not much technical challenges. Challenges are in two places. Number one is talent. And number two is mindset. If I talk about the first challenge, that is predominantly where we're at the back foot, because the example I gave of India, their first language is English. So when you're communicating with the West, English is a very, very important tool that they have to focus on, that they have to use. So for Bangladesh, we do speak English, but not enough of us speak English. So this sentiment of English being a language that will make us insecure about our mother language, our mother tongue, this concept has to be changed. We use English as a tool, just the way we use Microsoft applications, Word, Excel, and all of that, just the way we use Facebook, just the way we use everything else. English is a tool for us to attract more business to come into the country. And secondly, as I said, it's the mindset. A lot of us will have to work from 6 in the evening to 3 in the morning, or from 9 in the evening to 6 in the morning. That mindset has to come in. There are areas in India where there are communities that are BPO families. They've become BPO families. They've switched it around. They've become nocturnal because they have cafes open at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. because they're servicing the BPO people, the BPO employees. So these are things that we have to start focusing on, changing the shift in mindset. Where does my son work? Oh, my son works at a small, lowly call center. No, my son works at a BPO. He's earning foreign remittance for the country. Please recognize that. It's phenomenal. So a lot of shift has to happen.
I think you make some very, very important points that I would like to re-emphasize. Okay, one you said is in order for us to really excel at this BPO game, our kids need to really up their skills in the English language, which is critically important. And I'll give you one example. I do not remember which year it was. Many years back, I called IBM support, and the call was picked up in Manila. And believe me, I couldn't tell for the longest time that the person was not an American.
There you go.
Okay, so now I find in Bangladesh, and this lack of, like you mentioned, the lack of desire to learn English, as if that's somehow going to lessen the shine on my mother tongue. It is not. Just look at it as a tool, like you said, Zara. And the second thing that you mentioned, of course, is the mindset, right? Like those of us that have lived in the Western world, kids, when they get to be 16 and stuff, they start a part-time job at the local restaurant, the McDonald's, or what have you. But in our country, you see, that is such a shameful thing to do. That mindset needs to switch. The only thing that, if we can say that I work for a MNC, multinational corporation, or I work for a bank, then it's okay. And then if I say I work for a call center, it is such a, such a thing that one just lessens your standing in society, so to speak. I'm going to go back to something that I had asked you, the IT infrastructure ready in Bangladesh, and you said that it is. I somehow think there is a report that came out not too long ago, right? Even though we have tremendous cellular phone penetration in Bangladesh, even more than some of the comparator countries, but our bandwidth just isn't there yet. I look at IT infrastructure as like building roads and bridges, you know? So you build these roads
Yes.
and bridges, and then some roads and bridges, you have tolls, but this is where the economic engine runs off of these roads and brings in revenue. So IT infrastructure, the bandwidth ought to be looked at like that too. I even think that the government ought to make it free, the bandwidth.
That's the ideal state. But I must tell you, the government is doing a lot to take us closer to that digital Bangladesh dream. If when Kazi IT started 10 years ago, they were struggling. And today we have hundreds of people logging in and working all through the night seamlessly. So the IT infrastructure is actually moving forward. It's moving maybe step by step, but we are moving forward. There is a lot of emphasis. There's a lot of focus in this particular area. So I'm very thankful to the Honorable Prime Minister as well as the advisor, and of course, Minister Junaid Ahmed Pollock.
So Zara, what other than, you know, we have covered, you know, you said that there is, and I'm in sync with you, that sky's the limit as far as the potential for Bangladesh. We also talked about skill sets, right? We talked about skill sets where you said attitude and then of course English language. What other skill sets do you suppose?
We need skills in data science. We need skills in computer science overall. We need solid ability for people to be able to develop applications, to be able to develop softwares, to be more innovative. Of course, marketing is another skill set that we need for all of our entrepreneurs to go out there and brand the country, to brand the industry. We need to be able to sell our abilities. So these are basic things that we require in order for more business to come into Bangladesh in the BPO sector.
As far as the BPO industry, you feel very confident. So in closing, what would you like to say? Just sum it up.
In closing, I want to say the BPO industry is the next garment industry. So Bangladesh, let's focus and let's make it massive. Because I know that the world with the flat technology today, we have absolutely the sky as our limit. We can do anything we put our minds to. And as Bangladeshis, learning English is not a challenge. Learning anything is not a challenge. This is the country that got its liberation in 9 months. This is the country of people that fought for language. So for us, nothing is a challenge. And the BPO industry is going to be massive, inshallah. So I'm super excited about that.
Zara, what a pleasure. What a pleasure
Thank
to
you.
have you. Unfortunately, we run out of time here. So I'd like to thank you, and with an invitation to have you back many more times. I'd like to thank our audience for joining us for this session, with an invitation for you to come back and join us for the next session. Stay safe, and I'll see you next session. Bye-bye.